10,000 joules of energy is available to the producer. So that means they have this. Producers have 10,000 joules. So how much will be the primary consumers will get?
1000.
1,000 joules. From that, how much is the secondary is getting?
100.
100 joules. What is the question asked? How much energy will be available to the secondary consumers to transfer to the tertiary consumers? How much they are transferring?
10.
10.
So 10 joules only. This answer is 10 joules. Tropic levels they are asking, then it is completely different way. Tropic level, this is first tropic level, second tropic level, third tropic level, and fourth tropic level. But they are asking the tertiary consumers. Now the same case in the next one. If 10,000 joule of solar energy is available to the grass, so how much grass is taking that energy?
10 joules?
How much grass is absorbing the energy?
1,000. Yes. 1,000.
No.
100. 1%, no.
Now 1%, right? 1%.
Yeah, so what is 1%? 100 joules, no?
Yes, ma'am.
100 joules the grass got. Then from that grass, how much deer got?
10.
10 joule. So how much is available?
1 joule.
The lion. So how much energy would be available to the deer to transfer it to the lion? So deer has 10 joule. But how much is transferred to the
1.
lion?
1 joule. 1.
1 joule. So deer has 10 joules of energy, but it is using 9 joules for itself and 1 joule it is transferred to the lion. How much energy is available? 10 joules of energy is available to transfer to the lion. But they are not transferring fully. So question, its wording difference is there. So what is the exact answer here? These questions are somewhat confusing, yes. The teachers are also confused and cut marks. So you have to always be behind them. So what exactly is written here? How much energy would be available to the deer to transfer it to lion? So how much available?
10. No,
10,
1.
10 joule is available, but actually get transferred is 1 joule.
Ma'am, is the answer 10 or 1?
10 joule.
Okay, ma'am, it's really confusing.
Yeah, it's much more confusing.
Can you explain again? I didn't understand.
Read the question carefully. How much energy would be available to the deer? How much available to the deer? Leave that part, transfer it to the lion. How much they have energy?
10 joule.
10 joules. So 10 joules might get transferred, but practically how much is get transferred?
1 joule.
1 joule. So here there are two questions. How much energy is transferred to the lion? If this question is asked, then you have to write 1 joule. But how much is available to the deer?
10 joules.
That is the difference.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it clear now? Is it clear now? This is also the same thing. I also got confused in this part.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
How much energy will be available to the secondary consumer? Available. So already they have. How much amount of energy the secondary consumers have?
100 joules.
100 joules. They can transfer to the tertiary consumer. But actually how much they are transferring?
10 joule.
10 joule only. Okay. So what is available and what is practically they are transferring? Two different factors. So they are asking availability. Is it clear? So here also they are asking availability. Availability is I have in the first this case I have 100 joule. Secondary have 100 joules. In this case available is 10 joule. But are they doing? No, they are using it for themselves also. So this is the difference in two questions. And now if the question is asked how much energy Dr is transferring to the line, Dr transfers to the line, that is 1 joule. I have and what I am giving, there are two different factors. So Dr has 10 joule, but it is not giving. So available is 10 joule, but Dr is not giving it. It is utilizing for itself.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, is the first answer 100?
Yeah. This one first answer is 100 joules. So how much is available? 100 joules is available. So here also answer is 10 joule. So I also got confused in this. Then what will be the amount of energy available to the organisms of second trophic level of a food chain if the energy available for first trophic level is 10,000 joules? So
1,000
available
Thousand.
already. So it is 1,000 joules. 10% of that value.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, for the third question, if they had said it's available for the first tropic level is this 10,000, and how much can we transport to second tropic level then?
That is only the question is 1,000 joules is transferred. 10%.
Ma'am, they're asking how much amount of energy.
Available 10,000. They have available amount is 10,000, but how much they are transferring is
1,000.
1,000 joules. And now what is the question here? It is what will be the amount of energy available to the organisms of second trophic level? So how much available? So first trophic level, they have 10,000 joules available. How much they are transferring to the second trophic level?
1,000.
So how much the second trophic level have to transfer it to the third one?
1,000.
Available is 1,000, but how much they are transferring?
100.
100. Now the difference clear?
Yes, ma'am.
They available, how much is available and how much they transfer. There are two different factors. Clear this part?
Yes.
Two more questions. These are. Okay. Done? Have you written down?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then the next part, we have done this. So here, write down the question. You have written down this. Right? Here, this 10% law you have written?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Based on this questions, write down the questions based on this part. First one. Energy flow is unidirectional. Energy flow is unidirectional. Give reason. Okay, energy flow is unidirectional, but nutrient flow is cyclic. Give reason. Can you explain?
Ma'am, the energy can only be from when a higher level organism consumes a lower level organism. So and then but the nutrient flow after the highest level organism dies going to converted into get back into the soil and then taken up by the grass. Ma'am. So the nutrients present in the highest level consumer are going to get mixed with soil again. So it's going to be cyclic.
Yeah, that's right. So
Ma'am.
energy, yes.
Ma'am, can you repeat the second question again?
The same question it is. The energy flow is unidirectional, but nutrient flow is cyclic. Energy flow is unidirectional, but nutrient flow is cyclic. Give reason.
Ma'am, also energy doesn't really come back like nutrients do.
Yeah, that is what the answer is. You have to explain that only. So energy, when the producers are eaten by herbivores, energy is transferred to the herbivorous animals. But that same energy cannot come back to the producers. Same thing when uh, carnivorous animals eat herbivores, the energy is transferred from herbivorous to carnivorous, but the energy could not come back. The given energy could not come back. So therefore, energy flow is unidirectional. But nutrients, when any organism dies, when the producers are eaten by herbivorous animals, or a first topic, producers are eaten by herbivorous, the nutrients are transferred from producers to herbivorous. But when herbivores die or any animal die, the decompose their body and convert complex organism into the nutrient smaller substances called nutrients, transferred to the soil back. So the producers can get those nutrients back. Therefore, nutrient flow can come back. Nutrients transferred to the second, third trophic level can come back to the first trophic level again by the help of decomposers, but the energy cannot come back. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So write down the answer in your own words. This is an important question from this part. Done? Have you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the next one, next question, write down. Every food chain have maximum 3 to 5 trophic levels. Every food chain has 3 to 5 trophic levels only. Give reason.
And can you repeat the question again?
Every food chain has 3 or 5 trophic levels only. Give reason.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you show those 3 questions on 10%?
Why there are 3 to 5 food chains? Oh, sorry, food tropic levels.
Ma'am, due to the 10% law, they get very easier that by the time it goes to the fifth or the sixth.
Yeah. So you have to explain 10% law in that case. Okay.
Ma'am, you should state that law.
Yes, state the law. So what do you mean by the 10% law? You have to state it. The next one again important question from this part. Yes. Aquarium need to be cleaned regularly, but natural ponds or lakes need not to be.
Ma'am, because the organisms in the pond or lake are used to the environment around them. But the fish in an aquarium are used to clean water and they'll die if there are any impurities in it.
Ma'am, the fish in the aquarium don't have the necessary microorganisms around it, or something
For the
needed,
decomposition. Yeah.
and it's there in its natural habitat, but it's an artificial one, so we don't have it. So in terms of the microorganisms, we have to create for them.
Natural environment have a complete sustained food chains. They have food webs. They have, that means microorganisms. When any organism dies or its excreta is cleaned by many microorganisms called decomposers. So they decompose and cleans that area. That ecosystem is cleaned by the microorganisms. But artificial aquariums, when we consider that there are no these microorganisms are not present. Decomposers are not present to clean the excreta of other animals, as well as if the animal die, it has to be cleaned manually because there are no decomposers to decompose that dead body. Therefore, it has to be manually cleaned, but natural is automatically cleaned by decomposers. Clear? These are the questions of 2018.
Ma'am, are you showing something?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm not showing anything. Done. These are the important questions from this part. The next part is biological magnification. What do you mean by biological magnification? Biological magnification means whenever in any food chain, if any toxic substance enter, any level, if any toxic substance enter, what will happen? Toxic substance that is again what you call as non-biodegradable substance. Then what will happen to that substance? Will it remain in the food chain or will go away?
It
Ma'am,
will
it will
remain.
remain.
It will remain because it is non-biodegradable. That means any of the living organism consumes any non-biodegradable substance. It's not possible by the enzymes of the body of living organisms can digest it because it is non-biodegradable. So it will remain accumulated in the body. So when that particular level, tropic level organisms are eaten by the another tropic level organisms, it remain accumulated in his body also. So this way, slowly, many toxic substances which are non-biodegradable will remain accumulated in the food chain. It will remain in that food chain because one is eaten by the second, second is eaten by the third. It will keep on accumulating, and the maximum accumulation will be seen in the higher level organisms because they are eating more. Any of the food web, they are eating first animal, second animal, third animal, or the same animals they are keep on eating. The upper carnivorous animals are eating the lower carnivorous lower carnivorous are eating the herbivorous animals, herbivorous are eating the plants. So every level this accumulation amount is keep on increasing, and the maximum accumulation we can see in the higher trophic level organisms. So because they are eating and they stay there itself. So it is not going anywhere. It is staying in that part. And it is, so this way, the accumulation of these toxic substances is keep on increasing. So this phenomena is called biological magnification. So this is magnifying these amount or level of these toxic substances is magnifying in every trophic level. So when the producers, suppose the, for example, fertilizers, if you take example, or pesticides, some of the pesticides are water soluble. So they easily dissolve in water, and with the help of, through the water, the plants absorb those pesticides. Then what will happen to that pesticide? It will remain in the plant body. So in different parts of the plant, those pesticides will be present. Now when these plant parts are eaten by the herbivorous animals or omnivorous animals, it will, that pesticides are transferred to the those plants or those second trophic level organisms. So here, and they are eating more from the plants, so more amount of accumulation than the plants, than the one single plant they are not eating, they are eating many plants, and many plants has more equal amount of pesticides if you consider. Then it will this will accommodate in the single body of the second trophic level organism. When second trophic level organisms is eaten by the third trophic level organisms, then what will happen? Then again the excess amount, and whatever the amount the one body, one particular animal has in the second trophic level, how much is present in the third trophic level? Because it is not eating only one herbivorous animals, it is eating 2 or 3 herbivorous animals. So in the third level, the amount of this pesticides will be more, triple fold might be. Then when that carnivorous is eaten by another carnivorous, again it is accumulation is more.
Ma'am, won't it be
So
excreted?
no, it cannot be. It's not always. It is non-biodegradable. So it will remain accumulated. Sometimes it will
Ma'am,
remain
but
accumulated, sometimes it will go out. Because it is sometimes absorbed by the cells as well and remain in these cells and causes damage to the different parts of the body. Keep on causing the damage. Okay. So this way, the accumulation of these particular toxic substances in different trophic levels is called as biological magnification.
नेट चल रहा होगा ना, नेट गया, नेट कनेक्ट